Yeah, I'm going to go out and say from the beginning that I'm not an energy expert, and we're actually working on this at my organization. I think you've been in touch with Johanna, who is one of my colleagues is trying to redesign the entire United States electric system based on public ownership. So that work will be coming out, soon, maybe. However, I think as you said, the UK context is very interesting. So the UK is because of its geography, very conducive to renewable energy, wind especially. But all of the wind energy production in the United Kingdom, almost all of it, I'd say, I think 98% of it is done by either foreign state-owned enterprises or local or foreign privately owned companies. So in the United Kingdom, what they're talking about, or some people in the Labour Party are talking about, is how do you take control of the production, to take over the wind power, to have that run publicly, and then if you take control of the supply as well as the transmission, the grid, then you can maybe have multitudes of different players providing the end energy to consumers. Maybe you could even have privately owned companies, just doing that end production. So there's many different ways I think that you could structure an energy system around public ownership. You could have public ownership of the different elements of it. It could be completely public, or if you took control of the main, the supply plus the transmission, maybe you could even have private enterprises. I don't know if you wanted to do that and have some competition in a deregulated system. And someone might have more understanding of the energy system. I'd like to learn as well.
And you mentioned in the book, I think Nebraska has publicly owned wind farms as part of their...
Yeah, Nebraska, so when it's all public power state, but however, they started with publicly owned wind farms, but now what they're doing is they are contracting with privately owned wind farms. So they're allowing these large privately owned companies from across the United States to set up wind farms, and then they're entering into power purchase agreements with these privately owned farms. The largest wind farm in Nebraska is still publicly owned, but a lot of the other ones are privately owned. I think the other interesting thing that I didn't really mention is especially for smaller local systems, this already happens across the United States. They all band together to purchase energy. So publicly owned utilities, a lot of them are tiny in these small towns and whatnot. They all come together in these regional groupings, which I think is very interesting, to then purchase their electricity at a cheaper rate from the suppliers. And I think that's a model as well, coming together on a regional basis, so-called public-public partnerships as opposed to public-private partnerships. This happens in the water sector as well, when some municipalities, small towns will contract with the larger city to do bulk purchasing of water or to run their water systems more effectively and more efficiently.